Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another edition of the Team Building Podcast. We've got a couple of great guests with us today. Jeff Cohn is unable to join us, but that's all right because we've got two guests with us today, and we're talking about collaborative expansion, partnering with someone that complements your strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to learn about kind of an interesting approach to expansion today with a couple of our guests. And first, I'd like to welcome in Earron Shields. Earron, how's it going today?
It's great, Matt. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. So fill us in real quick before we bring in your expansion partner, Natalie. Fill us in kind of on where you're at and what the main team looks like.
Okay, so I'm located in a northwestern suburb of Minneapolis, and here is where it all started. Our team here currently, we've got 5 agents, excuse me, and ISA and our executive admin, plus myself, located here.
Okay, very cool. Mm-hmm. And all right, so did you say 5 agents, and then you only get you've got an executive admin?
Correct. So we've got an executive admin that does all of our transaction coordination, that type of stuff, helps the agents along, that kind of thing. And then we've got a listing specialist, a lead buyer specialist, and the rest are buyer specialists, along with an ISA.
Gotcha. And what did the team do last year in terms of units?
Last year we did 108 units. This year we're on track for about 180 some and about 45 million in volume.
Nice. So almost on track to double. Very, very cool.
No, actually we're over. Last year we did 20.8 million, so this year we'll over double.
Very, very cool. All right, awesome. All right, so then let's bring in Natalie. You're in Denver, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what the team looks like out there.
Well, there's me and then 3 agents. We also have a TC that contracts to help us.
Perfect.
So
okay.
that's
so like an independent contractor, licensed agent that just does all the transaction coordination for you and your 3 agents.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how long has the team been established out there?
We started in March 2015, so about 1.5 years now.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, let's dive in, and Earron, let's start with you. So take me back to kind of when you encountered Natalie and how you guys struck up a friendship and where the business was at that point.
So my story, I've been licensed basically 20 years, and in February of 2014, I had been running another business, and I was really trying to get back to my passion, which was real estate. And I had a circumstance come up that allowed me to make a change from my current business and come back to real estate full time. And by doing that, as chance would have it, I got an email on a Saturday morning from an employee stating that they were going to move on. I came into the office on Monday and told our team leader here that I was going to be doing this full time, needed an office, so on and so forth. And I had been on a wait list for Boomtown for quite some time at that point. And as chance would have it, Tuesday morning, my phone rings and it's Boomtown saying, hey, they had a platform for us. So I took that, and my platform went live in late March, and in June, I closed 18 transactions by myself off of Boomtown. So I was like, uh-oh, I need a team. So so I went out and recruited some people and started our team up in June of 2014.
Very, very cool. That's awesome. Okay. So that's phenomenal to close. You said 18 deals, so between March and June.
Yep, they closed. Well, they actually all closed in June, but through the nurture process and all the other stuff, the contract to close and all that stuff. Yeah, they stacked up to 18 in the month of June.
Very cool. So what was your first steps to build the team out from there? Did you start stacking up like buyers agents, and if so, where'd you find them?
Yeah, well, I basically just went to people that I knew that were looking for changes in their lives, and that I thought had the same vision, the same values, that would treat people the way that I would want them to be treated. And that's how I found them. Actually, they were all 3 of the agents that I hired were people I knew.
Gotcha. So personal connections from the business, personal connections.
Personal connections. Every one of them. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. And are those the people that are still with you on your team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Okay,
Mhm.
good deal. All right, so take me how you and Natalie hooked up.
So Natalie and I hooked up because I mean, I didn't know a thing about tra- traditional building a traditional real estate business, and so I got hooked up with Boomtown, and I was trying to figure everything out, and I'm diving in, and I'm on Facebook and in all of the owner communities and agent communities, and every time a question come up, there was one person that answered almost every question, and that was Natalie. So,
Hmm.
so we just connected by chance, just, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And I started getting to know her, and we'd talk on the phone, and I learned a little bit about her and her situation, and then of course I went into recruit mode because she's amazing. So, and and then we went down to Boomtown Unite. I spoke on a couple panels there. Natalie was obviously very involved down there as well, and we just connected from there and kind of moved through our relationship. And I was I'd like to say relentless in my pursuit of her.
Okay. Well, Natalie, give me your side of the story on that. So, and take me back, especially like what's your background and what were you doing at the time to where you were contributing to the conversation, answering questions, and kind of being an authority in that way.
Right. So I got hired on my old team, which is out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I literally got a computer, and that's how they're like, all right, you're a new marketing manager, go to work. Well, as soon as I opened Boomtown, I was just like, holy buckets. These people have no idea what they're doing.
Okay.
And so their conversion rate at that time was, I think, 0.9%. And within 6 months, I got it up over 3%.
Nice.
Just by teaching and training and teaching the agents how to use the system, how it's supposed to be used, because
Right.
it doesn't manage itself. And implemented drips, and I just dove right into Boomtown, and then I had one-on-ones weekly with the agents regarding their follow-up process and yada, yada, yada. And then before I knew it, I mean, everybody was having great success with it. And I was involved in the owners community answering, which I should get back to helping Boomtown out or Mac out with that. But to me, it was very intuitive, I guess. So I was happy to answer all the questions. And then, yes, Earron and I met over social media, and we started chatting. Then we met at Boomtown Unite, and my family was actually planning on relocating to Denver, and I'm from Wisconsin. I didn't want to live there in the first place, but I said I'd go back to try to live again, and it didn't work out for me. So I knew once my family decided they were out of there that I wasn't going to last either. And so Earron actually wanted to start an expansion team in either Denver or Florida, and I was like, well, I'll go to Denver. And now here I am.
Excellent. All right. So what was in it for you from your perspective, Natalie? I mean, obviously we know a little bit about what's in it for Earron to have an expansion team, but what's in it for you? I mean, you've been on a team, you've seen the inside of the operations. Why didn't you just go and say, hey, we've been great friends, we'll keep in touch, but I'm going to go do it on my own?
Honestly, I'm a team person. I don't ever want to do it on my own. I think it's a lot of work, especially managing people. It can be very stressful, and you need to have somebody that you can rely on the other end, because, I mean, this can be a very lonely business if you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah, very
And
true.
so I knew I'm a team person. So I always wanted to build something with somebody and contribute to the bigger picture, but I wouldn't say I'm a risk taker or somebody who's a high enough D to just want to like do it on my own. And so I wanted to be on a team that has huge growth potential for myself. I saw the opportunity, and I think Earron saw the opportunity, because one of my family members that was on my old team actually moved out here, and she's an awesome agent out here, and it's just like, it's all in the family, quote unquote. We try to get people through people that we already know.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's and that a lot of expansion is taking place that way. There's some people that are going out there and aggressively looking for people that they don't already know. but most of the existing success and connections has all come through people, knowing people and stuff like that. So Earron, from your perspective, I mean, did you take Natalie through any kind of like recruit select process? Did you know her disc personality? Did you know any of that stuff going in?
Yeah, my team leader here in Maple Grove helped me put her through the AVA, and we talked about the disc, of course, and all that stuff. So, I mean, for me, my decision was already made. It was just, truth be told, was just more of a cementing it, if you will, the AVA process. But
just
yes,
understanding how to work together.
Yeah. I will say that now, I mean, we are very heavily entrenched in using the KPA, the new version of the AVA through Keller Williams, and a much more involved interview process. So that's something that we've developed now because of the need for deeper connections, deeper relationships, and bigger talent, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and getting back to that, so obviously Natalie, to you, was your big talent. She mentioned the opportunity that she saw. So what was the opportunity that you were selling her on that got her to partner with you?
I just think the overall, I think she was experiencing some frustrations, as we all do, but Natalie's a growth-minded individual, and where her team in Milwaukee is growing and still is growing, I don't think they necessarily had the biggest vision, the bigger vision like I do.
Right.
I mean, my goals are, pretty lofty, and we work hard at that. So I think that was probably one of the most attractive things to her, and then solidifying it by making a win-win for her. Being able to go to Denver, get out of Wisconsin, be close to her family. I think that was the key component, was just creating a win-win situation.
Gotcha. Natalie, just from your perspective, does that ring true? And what was the opportunity that you felt like you were coming into?
No, I think that's true. Honestly, I look back at it like, wow, that was a really brave move that I made, because I had to come in and prove myself to everybody in an unknown place where my family didn't move out until later. So it was just, going out there and putting my head down and doing the work. But yeah, I think what Earron said was true. I mean, it's the bigger opportunity to have the expansion model in different places around the United States and maybe around the world. It's not going to be the easiest thing, but I like to travel, and that was really an appealing thing to me, I guess, to have the opportunity.
That's a little bit of what I'm getting at, is the opportunity, because I'm curious, Earron, how you structured, or what you saw Natalie's vision for, like, where she kind of fit into the big scheme of things. So Natalie, you don't see yourself as just managing the Denver office, hanging out there and just kicking back and enjoying life and managing a few agents. So what's that next level that really sold you? What's that next opportunity? Would you be kind of overseeing the expansion teams?
Right, and the fact that a lot of my work even now I can do remotely, and I'm actually learning to train people remotely, which that's more difficult. I'm understanding the parts that I can do and the parts that somebody else has to physically be there to do. But having the possibility of being remote, or if I'm not going to stay here forever, that I've already proven myself that I can go someplace else and do this again. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's more endless possibilities if Earron's willing to invest into that.
Gotcha.
Right.
Very, very cool. Yeah, because I think, and we're finding this out the hard way with our expansion teams, and just the process of, I think Jeff has gone through, and it's literally over 100 people that have reached out and expressed interest in expansion with us out of our flagship office in Omaha. 100 actual, like, 1-hour in-depth conversations that they've had with different people, and out of those we chose 3 to launch with. One already didn't work out. He removed himself from the running by not putting in the work, and we're finding, like, just experimenting with finding that right person. And Natalie, you're an interesting case because you are the person that joined on with expansion, essentially agreed to go somewhere and start something from scratch. You're ambitious enough to want that big opportunity, and you want to lead people and you want to train people, but not in the sense that you're just biding your time until you're going out on your own. That's a very rare person, and it's, you know, sometimes some of that comes down to meeting somebody in the right life circumstance and things like that. So
I told you she was amazing. You didn't believe me, did you?
Well, honestly, I think in this industry, you just have a whole bunch of egotistical people that think that they can go do it on their own, and they don't realize, like, you need to have the money to invest up front, and then you need to put in some serious work. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to do that. Everybody thinks real estate is easy, like, and it's not.
Well, they think it's easy, and correct me if I'm wrong, Earron. I mean, I'm assuming you're providing. I mean, Natalie, you came into a team and you helped kind of systematize what they were doing. Earron, I'm sure you had some systems, and that was part of the advantage of her expanding with you guys. But I think people misunderstand. Like when you say that it's a lot of work, that's true. It's unfortunately sometimes it's different work than agents are willing to do. Agents are okay a lot of times, especially the high D, high I salesmen. They're okay with hard work as long as the hard work is getting out there and selling and just being in front of people and so forth. The problem is a lot of the hard work of expansion isn't the people stuff. It's not the sales. It's the systems. It's the back end. It's the operation side.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like that's where you come in, right, Earron?
Well, I wish I could say I could take. I have the vision. I know what we need. I luckily have Natalie for implementation and to basically rein me in and say, like, okay, look, you're chasing a shiny object right now, or, you know, or that kind of thing. So yes, the back end, our value proposition is, of course, the back end, the support. Natalie does the training and the scripting and the agent development and the marketing, and, you know, they don't have to do anything really but come in and do their job as far as selling is concerned. But I think the bigger proposition that we have, at least here in Minneapolis, is the lead lever. That's kind of that's how we got started. And as we expanded to different markets, it becomes a little bit, I think we're trying to develop a little bit more of a system that we don't need to be so heavily lead leveraged, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we just interviewed Chris Suarez. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he was talking a lot about their lead levers and the fact that internet is just now becoming one of their levers. They have 5 main levers, and they're all more traditional, you know, expires, door knocking, farming, etc. And so you guys are you came to the internet leads first, and now you're going back to kind of what Chris is doing and adding some of those other levers in to give your agents other options, so you're not dependent on internet leads.
Yeah, because I mean, I had a team previously before the market downturn, and our lead lever was new construction. Well, when that went away, you know, I came into the business on new construction, so I didn't know how to build a traditional real estate business. So that's what kind of kept me doing what I was doing for so long in the other company, was that I was petrified of coming in and not having how am I going to do this? And then when Boomtown came about, you know, I just threw money at it and time and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's the way we got started, was, you know, the money, the leads, but we're really trying to scale back and go, let's build a traditional business. And thankfully, we've got great people on our teams that are willing to do the work to build out the traditional business, door knocking, FSBOs, expireds, that kind of stuff. So yeah, different approach, but my business just happened to start differently than, say, Chris or somebody else.
Yeah. So are you guys kind of building something similar to what Chris is building, in the sense of like a coaching, training platform, where the home office there in Minnesota is more heavily involved in training people in the far-flung areas?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're working with a coach now, and I think that our direction is definitely changing. I don't know that we necessarily have a very specific. Chris is probably a couple of years ahead of us, I would say, where he's at. But definitely to focus on Natalie's passion and another individual that we have on our team's passion to actually start that training and coaching and that kind of thing from afar is definitely a direction I can see us going in.
Okay, so you kind of see Natalie as taking over or being really, really involved in the coaching and training platforms as you bring on more expansion agents. She's the one that's delivering the training remotely and then checking in on people traveling and actually dropping in on their offices and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So Natalie, that was kind of the big opportunity that sold you on it sounds like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. All right, so tell me a little bit about your guys' personality mixes. Obviously, you guys have gone through the AVA and the KPA and all that good stuff, so you know what your disc profiles are. You mind sharing those real quick and just how they compare and contrast with each other?
Go ahead.
I am pretty much a high C, high D. So they're pretty close, neck and neck. And I think my D is becoming higher.
I'll do that to you. Okay.
But I am also, when I'm in my more of a adaptive state, I can become in high I. So it's interesting. So I can turn that part on if I need to. It's not necessarily easy for me, but I can. And so I think that's unique because usually a high C doesn't like to talk to people.
I can't turn it on.
And can't socialize.
So what's your primary source of business, just for your own personal stuff?
Well, I don't produce.
Oh, really? You're out of production completely.
Which is really interesting, too. I know it's unique to the industry, but I basically manage and train and work on the marketing. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Which made it even harder to start the expansion team. Because I had to prove trust to people and get them up and going without exactly producing myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I will call leads. I will hand off leads. I take incoming calls. So I play more of an ISA role at times, claim leads and then hand them off. But it wouldn't work well if I was just out producing. If that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah. And all right, so the people that you brought on, are they primarily buyers agents that are working the Boomtown leads?
Yeah, they do both. Here in the expansion model, they do both.
Listings and buyers, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I know that's a big question. And then, are you guys comfortable sharing the splits in terms of what you get now, like how your compensation is structured if you're not producing, Natalie, and then what you're taking? Like what your percentage or whatever that you're keeping from the agent's production that supports you?
Earron? You want to answer that one?
Yeah, that's fine. So Natalie is just basically straight salaried, and as we're growing, that's changing too.
Like lowering the salary, higher like bonus per transactions, or?
Well, no, not so much. I mean, my big vision would be that Natalie would own a part of the company, and that kind of thing. And this year we'll do bonusing based on growth and that kind of stuff. So we didn't come into it with the perfect picture. It was just like, okay. I mean, I hate to say this because I know it's counterintuitive to what people say or how to build a business. But I literally just threw money at things. I just, I did because I
need someone there. Just pay to put someone there and let's get rolling.
Yeah, and when you recognize talent, I'm a firm believer in you pay for talent. So right. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me, but I don't know that it necessarily would make sense to some of the bigger people out there. They're probably like, this guy's nuts, but it worked. And so to answer your question and not be long-winded about it is. Now Natalie is salaried. Our splits are basically 50-50 across the board. If we bring in a new agent that has no experience, that split changes to compensate a lead buyer specialist from a perspective of training and things like that. And then our listing specialists we're at a 60-40 split with them. But in Denver, we kind of run two different.
I was going to say 60 to you guys or 60 to them?
No, 60 to us.
Okay.
But in Denver, we run a different. We're kind of running two different models in two different locations. Here in Minneapolis, we're very specialized. We have a listing specialist and we have buyer specialists. In Denver, the model it wouldn't work there because of some of the lead lever didn't work. So in order to keep people fed, quote unquote, we had to allow them to do whatever they needed to do. So they're out there, and it goes with the expansion model. Set forth by Keller Williams, right? Go find one person, have them do it all. Well, that's what we're doing there. So it's unique, I guess, that within a company like this that you're seeing two different models being run.
And
yeah,
I mean,
that's the way I think that's the way Chris's is too.
Mhm.
the return on investment is definitely here in Denver, and I'm looking for somebody to even become that quote unquote leader. But I can tell you that none of the agents have got to that point. Like, they're all money driven right now. They don't want to be the person that has to be the leader. The leader is the hardest thing to be. I mean, I've done things just to get them to do things. So I don't get paid for that, but that's how this happened. Like, I pushed them to do that and went along with them knowing that any efforts is going back to them. I'm not even getting paid to do that. So, I mean, it's not always easy being a leader, but yeah, Earron took a risk, I guess, you looking back. But at the same time, I do contribute a lot to the Minnesota support managing over there.
Oh, do you really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's why it works, because our structure is different, but it's still working.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if California starts, like, I will help Vince. Oh, in California, am I supposed to say that?
Yeah, that's fine. Cat's out of the bag now, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's right.
So I will still help him from afar and train him from afar and get him to the point, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
Now tell me about the transaction management part of it. So you guys have got an interesting structure. So you guys aren't providing it from the home office. You're encouraging, like you have kind of an independent contractor relationship with a TC there in Denver. Is that the model you expect to project out to your other areas?
Well, one of the struggles that we've faced in the 2 years that we've been around is I feel like we're very good at hiring sales talent, agent talent, but our administrative has been horrible. So we've gotten a hand on that now. But to answer your question, I'm not 100% sure on that, because I feel like there are teams that are doing it really well with their hubs, if you will. But I think every market is so different. Whether you're in a title company market or an attorney market, or the forms are different. Everything is so different, and I believe a transaction coordinator should really be licensed in order to be able to help the team fully. So I'm leaning more towards, unless the team grows to a point where we can hire our own, more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Transaction based coordinator, if you will, transaction coordinator.
Local based.
Yeah, so a contract based, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's just because of the specialization that can take place there. So I don't have an answer for you, I guess, on that as we move forward.
So what you're doing is working so far. It'd just be interesting to see if it continues to work, and if it does, you stick with that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's and the reason I ask is because we've had this conversation. Our original idea, Jeff's original idea, was to provide transaction management, which I like a lot in the sense that it does take a lot of the mental burden off of the agent, and gives the home office a lot of control, and it really gives you a huge value proposition to the agents to say, look, you don't have to worry about anything. We feed you the leads, just go deal with the people, close the deals, do the contracts, and we'll do the rest. But yeah, because every state is so different, unless you expand into just other markets that are very, very similar, and you never go into another state, like you said, an attorney state like New York or whatever, and then it restricts you on expansion. And it creates a lot of potential for error. I mean, admin staff, they want things to be as much the same as possible. Everybody's on the same program, the same systems, the same checklists and stuff like that. And yeah, it would be very difficult for us in Omaha to transaction coordinate a deal in California where everything is different. Yeah. And timelines are different, expectations are different, and there's a lot of opportunity for error. So we struggle with that. Ended up taking the transaction management out of our value proposition, and now we encourage like our expansion teams to go contract with somebody and kind of get that handled. And so yeah, we've kind of done the same thing.
Why take that out of yours, and why put that back on the agent, and why not do that on your own and make that part of?
As far as us hooking up the relationship with the transaction coordinator.
Well, yeah, and then you're paying them, and the relationship is with you, not the agent, and so you kind of keep that. You kind of keep that model going, like, hey, we're going to take care of you. You still only have to go and do the deals.
Yeah, that's the model that I would like to see us adopt. There's a little bit more legwork on us to go find someone, but yeah, I want that to be that's how I would prefer it, because I'm looking at it from the perspective of recruiting and wanting to have the strongest possible value proposition. But yeah, so far we haven't made any firm decisions on how we're always going to do that. We've just been getting our existing teams like up and running and stuff like that. And but yeah, in the future I would like to see us go towards your guys' model, because I think that is something that is a value that we can provide, I think, fairly easily, and take that mental burden off of the agent and make us look even better.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
cool.
So I like that. All right, so tell me a little bit more about how you guys just on how you guys are complementing your strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. So who's how are you guys arriving at decisions, and who handles what? Because Natalie, you're involved in some stuff with the home office, and Earron, obviously that's your home turf. So we'll start with you, Natalie. Tell me about how you guys interact on a daily basis. How do you guys communicate, and how do you guys make decisions?
Well, every Monday we have a support meeting. So I have a list of things, and we start going down the list and getting things taken care of and make action items. If I'm struggling with something with an agent here, I'll call him, vice versa. So we play good cop, bad cop a lot with the agents.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty heavily involved in their go-to person for, I guess, questions that they know I can help them with. And, sometimes I think I'm more sometimes support staff for them too. Like I'm another, like, for example, Adam called me this morning and wants me to look over the CMA that he did. So I'm that person that they go to sometimes if Earron's not around there to help them or whatever, but I have a strong relationship with the Minnesota agents. And so I think Earron and I communicate. I mean, we call each other when we need each other, but we're both D's, so we don't spend a lot of time chatting. Right. We get to the point.
well, and the bottom line really is, to be honest with you, Matt, in the interest of time, is that, she has the authority to do what she needs to do, and I trust her. This is a relationship built solely on trust and experience, and I don't go off half-cocked and make decisions about our team without talking to her first, and then deciding, okay, yeah, this is something we want to look at, and then we go to our team and go, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? We get buy-in from everybody before we try cramming stuff down their throats, and I think that served us very well.
Yeah, because almost like, and we talked to this about with Chris Juarez about how his approach is almost like a brokerage with just the agents being in multiple locations, and it sounds like that's kind of what you guys have going. So, Earron, you're the team owner and you handle a lot of the operation side and stuff like that, but you guys are almost acting like a brokerage where you just have agents that just happen to be in multiple locations, but the chain of command up through Natalie and then up to you, Earron, is almost the same regardless of where they're at. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely. Yes.
Which is really interesting.
And I want to keep it that way. Like I want to form a relationship with Vince in California, and I want to continue to have that open door relationship with people that I feel like I have a real relationship with them, because that's important.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing too. So the success manager for our office, like at the 27 or whatever agents in our Omaha office, is also the success manager for the expansion teams. So it's very, very similar. I mean, and that's his full-time job, or not full-time, but that is his job within the team, within the expansion, is to coach the agents, develop their relationship. He's the one that they come to with questions, and then Jeff comes in with more of the higher level. Okay, now strategically, here's the next step, this is what we're going to do, here's the next things that we're going to do, let's work on implementing this. And then, but as far as like the day-to-day follow-up, especially on the holding them accountable and the weekly meetings and stuff like that, that's all Andy, our success manager, and he will always be that role, both managing both the agents in Omaha and the expansion agents. So that is very similar. So it sounds like, Earron, you are like, you treat Natalie as if she's already, you know, an equity partner with you in the business. She's not just an expansion partner managing her own team out there. You know, like you guys are treating the whole thing as a whole, and you're treating her as like a co-owner.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's nothing on paper per se, quote unquote, but I mean, to me, she's my partner. There's no question about that. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, cool guys. Well, this has been awesome. So, so let's go. We'll wind things down here and let's go through how people can send you referrals and kind of where you guys are at and specializing. So, Earron, we'll start with you. So, what's the best way, like the best areas that you serve, and the best way to reach out to you guys if people have a referral for you?
Well, we're, like I said, we're a suburb of Minneapolis, and we handle the entire 7-county metro and some outskirts. So anything you've got in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area is our coverage area here. You're more than welcome to reach out to me at Earron at househuntersminnesota.com or my cell at 763-777-2257. And then, as Natalie mentioned, we're launching in California next week. So we're going to be in the Bakersfield area there. So if you've got anything out there, same email, same phone number, give me a call. We'd be happy to help you out.
Awesome. And then, Natalie, same question to you.
Well, I'm located downtown, Denver metro area, but you guys give me a call and I'll match that person with the right agent. I'm pretty good at that, so we'd be happy to take all referrals. 3 awesome agents.
And have people contact you?
Natalie at househuntersco.com.
househuntersco.com. All right, cool. All right, and then for anybody watching this, just remember about our website. So go to eliterealestatesystems.com and go to the workshops page. We've got a couple more left this year, one in November, one in December. They are on a Monday, so you can actually come in and spend the whole day with Jeff and the team there at our flagship office in Omaha. You can see all the systems. You get to sit in on the major team meeting where all the agents report their numbers, and one-on-one meetings with the agents, with our success manager that I mentioned, Andy Cuny, as well as an hour with our operations manager, Kevin, where he goes through all the system spreadsheet tools, the whole shebang as far as how we run the team there. And so that's the team building workshop. It's $3,000 for yourself and a guest. And then if you have admin staff that want to come in, you can bring them as well. So all the information on that is at eliterealestatesystems.com. If you're also interested in partnering with us on expansion, we can talk about that. There's some information on the website about expansion and all the other cool stuff that we've got going on. And so with that, this has been great, guys. I really appreciate your contributions and just being open and transparent with everything that you guys have got going on. If anybody is interested in partnering up with you guys for expansion, obviously Earron sounds like would be the best person to reach out and have that conversation with. So I encourage you to do that, especially if you're within KW already. We are within Berkshire Hathaway. We're pretty broker agnostic. We don't really care, and I love KW personally, so I would love to partner with KW agents. But if you want to stay within the KW network, talk to Earron as well. And yeah, we'll go ahead and put a nice bow on this one. And until next time, everybody, just make sure to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. And we'll see you on the next edition of the Team Building Podcast.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
Bye. Thank you.
All right.